Hello, one and all. Welcome to KBC's Bible study, looking at characters in the Bible. And today we're looking at Abigail. Abigail. And in our devotional, it's number 23. Well, in my version, which is a Kindle version, so it might be different in yours. And the Bible text is 1 Samuel 25, verse 1 to 42. So what do we know about Abigail? Well, the first thing that we're told about Abigail, says Ross Clark, is that she's both intelligent and beautiful. And Clark makes this observation. She says, well, that's a nice change, because the first thing that we're normally told about women from the Old Testament is that they're either infertile, jealous, or wicked. And of course, Abigail is none of these things. She's an example to us all. But sadly for Abigail, the second thing that we're told about her is that she's married to a man called Nabal, and he is wicked. He's bad news. He's mean, moody, generally not a nice guy, accustomed to getting drunk, and what Hugh would call an absolute cad. In fact, Abigail herself tells us that his name means fool, which all in all means that he's not very easy to live with. And like so many women in similar situations, she's turned her wisdom and her intelligence to good use, namely managing him so that it minimizes the damage that he can do to both her and others. And she draws on that experience to help her in the situation we're going to look at today. So what is that situation? Well, David is traveling through the country close to where they live, and he asks Nabal, or sends word to Nabal, for a favor. He asks for supplies to help them. But Nabal rudely rejects that request for supplies and dismisses David out of hand. David does not respond well, to put it mildly. And there are reasons for that. I think David is nursing an emotional wound. And you can discover why in the previous chapter. It's where David confronts Saul at the cave of Adullam. And he forgives him for pursuing him and for trying to take his life. It puts an end to the pursuit. It's the culmination of weeks and weeks, months maybe, of Saul pursuing David through the desert, and David confronts him. Doesn't attack him, he confronts him through forgiveness. And I think it's left him emotionally exhausted. And that emotional wound is yet to be healed. And here comes Nabal just prodding that wound with a sharp stick and gives him yet more rejection, saying, Who are you? Who are you, David? Who is this David? David straps on his sword, says, come on, men, let's kill him, and all the males in his household. The servant in Nabal's household who hears this message being delivered realizes the gravity of the situation. So he goes straight to Abigail, not to Nabal. He knows where he's going to get the help. He says, look, disaster is hanging over our master and the whole household. He's such a wicked man, no one can talk to him. That's in verse 17 of chapter 25. And Abigail thinks fast. She has to. She gathers the provisions David's asked for, rides out to meet him, and she doesn't tell Nabal where she is because she knows that would be hopeless. But she goes to persuade David not to attack Nabal. How does she do it? Well, she's going to have to draw on all her wisdom and her experience for this one. What does she say to David? Remember, David is kind of in the wrong too here, really, isn't he? Nabal what's he done? He's just said no to giving David supplies. But does he really deserve to die? No, he doesn't. I mean, David has just forgiven Saul for pursuing him and trying to kill him. And that's where the problem lies. David has conquered his Goliath of forgiveness, but now that's left a wound, and Nabal is prodding it. So David is angry. He's out of control. He's emotionally vulnerable. How does Abigail tackle it? Does she go straight to the heart of the issue and say, look, what are you doing? Get a grip, man. No, she doesn't do that. Read what she says in Samuel 25, verses 28 to, well, let's read it, because the words she uses is a masterclass in diffusing a situation. She says, please forgive your servant's presumption. The Lord your God will certainly make a lasting dynasty for my Lord, because you fight the Lord's battles. No wrongdoing can be found in you as long as you live. Even though someone is pursuing you to take your life, that's Saul, the life of my Lord will be bound securely in the bundle of the living by the Lord your God. But the lives of your enemies he will hurl away as from the pocket of a sling. When the Lord has fulfilled for my Lord every good thing he promised concerning him, and has appointed him ruler over Israel, my Lord will not have on his conscience the staggering burden of needless bloodshed, or of having avenged himself. And when the Lord your God has brought my Lord success, remember your servant," meaning remember Abigail. So she speaks actually directly into the hurt. She speaks healing and prophesies good things, godly things. She knows that God's promise is on his life. And she encourages him not to throw the good away, but to continue to act honorably. And she does it so sensitively, so tactfully, so spiritually. She says, look, fight the Lord's battles. Don't allow Nabal to upset you. Don't allow this stroppy man, this minnow, Nabal, to get under your skin and cause you to do something that you will later regret. And David is able to accept it. Amazing. We knew she was wise, but wow, this shows an enormous amount of discernment and spirituality. And it has the right effect. David can see the wisdom of that, goes away without attacking Nabal. In fact, you can almost see them bonding in a special way in this scene. Abigail doesn't tell Nabal what has happened because he was drunk with his friends. So she waits till next day when he's sober. And when he hears what's happened, the guy realizes how close he came to disaster and promptly has a heart attack. And then some days later, he dies. And when David hears about it, he thinks, well, justice has been done anyway. He remembers what Abigail said, remember me. And so he does. He takes Abigail into his household, marries her actually. She becomes one of his wives. Yeah, okay. So Ross Clark suggests that marriage to David was not always going to be easy, not always going to be a bed of roses. But she says this, I dare say Abigail, with all her wisdom, learned how to handle her second husband just as expertly as she did the first. What an amazing woman. So what are the takeaways? Well, there's two main ones, aren't there? David shows us how unresolved hurt can manifest. And we've got to be careful that we ensure that we deal with any unresolved hurt in our lives so that it doesn't similarly manifest in ways that take us by surprise. And Abigail shows us how sensitive and wise we can be to turn away anger with a soft word, to see a problem brewing and to act wisely to diffuse a situation. Well, thank you for listening. God bless. Bye for now.